Chapter 1, page 18. Reading. Improving CQ, Understanding Cultural Values. Most people have heard the term IQ, a measure of intelligence. In the book, Cultural Intelligence, People Skills for Global Business, David C. Thomas and Kerr Inkson introduced the term CQ, Cultural Intelligence. They wrote their book for business people. However, this book can be useful to anyone who wants to become culturally intelligent, not only someone in business. Globalization of people. Why is there a need for a book about cultural intelligence? Thomas and Inkson remind us that there are 7 billion people in the world from thousands of cultures, but we live in a village, a global village, where events 10,000 miles away seem as close as events happening in the next street. We find ourselves in this global village whenever we read a newspaper or watch television. They explain that the globalization of people creates a new and major challenge for everyone who works in business. Although we easily cross boundaries when we travel from country to country, it isn't so easy to cross cultural boundaries. According to Thomas and Inkson, the potential problems are enormous. Even when people come from the same culture, interpersonal skills are often poor, and this weakness is costly to business. The 3 components of cultural intelligence. The authors ask the central question: how can ordinary people in business acquire the ability to feel at home when dealing with those from other cultures, to know what to say and do? Their answer is for business people to become culturally intelligent. Cultural intelligence has 3 parts: knowledge, knowing how culture affects behavior; mindfulness, the ability to pay close attention to cues in cross-cultural situations; and behavioral skills, choosing the appropriate behavior for different situations. They include a graphic representation of cultural intelligence, CQ. Cultural values. A knowledge of cultural values is essential for cultural intelligence. Thomas and Inkson give 2 ways to look at cultural values. The first is from Geert Hofstede, a Dutch social scientist. In a study first published in 1980, Hofstede analyzed answers on paper and pencil questions about the values of more than 100,000 employees of one large multinational company in 40 and later 53 countries and regions. Statistical analysis of the country differences showed these to fall into 4 separate areas, dimensions. Individualism. In individualistic cultures, people think of themselves as individuals and prefer to work alone or to do activities in small, private interactions with friends. They base their decisions on their own ideas of what is appropriate. In collectivistic cultures, people think of themselves as members of groups and prefer group activities. They base decisions on the needs of the group. Power distance. In a culture with high power distance, people expect a big difference between people with high status and people with low status. For example, at work, they expect the boss to make all the decisions. In a culture with low power distance, people are more equal. There isn't as much difference between people of high and low status. At work, the boss listens to people at all levels in the company. Uncertainty avoidance. In some cultures, there is strong uncertainty avoidance. This means that people try to avoid the unknown, unfamiliar ideas, different-looking people, new experiences. These cultures are more emotional and stressed and tend to like having many rules. In other cultures, with weak uncertainty avoidance, people accept the unknown more easily. They are supposed to control their emotions, and they dislike rules. Masculinity. Hofstede saw some cultures as more masculine, male, and some as more feminine, female. In masculine cultures, success in business is very important. In feminine cultures, it is important to have harmony, good, peaceful relationships with other people. Hofstede gave countries a score in each area. For example, cultures with high individualism, such as Australia, Canada, Great Britain, and the United States, scored over 75. The countries with low individualism, collectivistic cultures, scored under 20. Some of these countries were Colombia, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Indonesia, and Pakistan. In a second study from 2000, researchers S.H. Schwartz and Lilach Sagiv studied the values of 57 cultures. They looked at 7 areas. 1. How people see each other as equals. 2. Harmony with the environment. 3. Being a member of a group. 4. Hierarchy, a system in which people with high status have power. 5. Use of the natural or social environment. 6. The ability to pursue, try to have, positive experiences. 7. The ability of individual people to pursue their own independent ideas. Thomas and Inkson suggest that people should think about their own culture in these 7 areas, or Hofstede's 4. They explain that the first step to cultural intelligence is to understand your own culture and how your culture influences how you see others.